I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't hear. That my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear the thoughts build up until I can't hear. That my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. Rohan Dennis is an Australian former world champion cyclist. He was arrested in January, this was shortly after Christmas, and charged with causing death by dangerous driving, also driving without due care and endangering life. Police are alleging that Rohan Dennis recklessly struck his 32-year-old wife, also the mother of two of his children, with his car in front of their $2.45 million home in Medindi in Adelaide's inner north on December 30th. And that is according to the Daily Mail. And we've really been waiting since January for Rohan Dennis to sort of answer to the charges against him. And we were told that a court date had been set in March, and now that court date has come. And so where are we a couple of months later? Before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you find this analysis useful, interesting, worthwhile, please like, share, leave a comment. You can also hit the thanks button, and let's get started. So there wasn't really much that happened. Rohan Dennis didn't say anything on the way to the court or on the way back to his vehicle, despite there being a kind of a hovering of media around him. He's also since set his Instagram profile to private, but without knowing any details, how do you think the adjournment reflects on Rohan Dennis? I mean, that was essentially what happened. The case has been adjourned for 5 months, and without me telling you, I'm going to tell you in a moment why there's an adjournment, but what do you think the adjournment tells us about this case? Do you think it's an open and shut case? Do you think it's a simple case? Do you think Rohan is innocent? Do you think it was an accident? Do you think this adjournment reinforces his guilt or his innocence? Now, probably we do need to know a bit more information, and so let me take you through around 3 aspects. First of all, it was the prosecution who requested more time. That should already tell you something. Secondly, the time was requested to give the prosecution the opportunity to complete a major crash reconstruction, right? So they basically want to feed the information into, I guess, an animation studio, into a some kind of editing suite, and probably animate the whole thing, basically using digital technology. Thirdly, what I think this suggests is that the authorities believe Dennis does have a case to answer for, even a couple of months later. And what they want to do and what they intend to show through this reconstruction is exactly what really happened. And so one could easily say, he could argue that he left home for whatever reason, and that his wife ran out unexpectedly, and it's her fault effectively that she was run over. That could be the defense. And of course, the prosecution may show quite a few different things. I've already speculated, I mean, we have very little information about this case, but I have already speculated that, first of all, if he rode over her and he didn't intend to, did he stop immediately and render aid? And that is not something that seems to be the case. There were apparently 2 teenagers in the area, and they rendered aid. They tried to perform CPR. So the fact that he didn't do that counts against him. There's also the question of who called 911 or whatever the emergency number is in Australia. And that doesn't seem to be Rowan Dennis either. I say that under correction. But if he didn't render aid and he didn't call the emergency medical services, then without knowing anything else, without even seeing the animation, that really does count against him. Now, although there is CCTV, the fact that the prosecution are going to the effort to put together, to assemble, to compile this animation seems to indicate that the CCTV may be insufficient. It may be that it shows or doesn't show Melinda Hoskins, also a champion cyclist, also a Olympian, very decorated cyclist. This was a star couple once upon a time, but it may not show her running out into the road, and it may only show kind of a snippet of what actually happened. The incredible thing is that this was caught on a neighbor's security footage, but one would imagine that possibly the vehicle obscured some or all of Melissa's limbs. So it's also possible that the CCTV, remember it's in a fixed position, only recorded part of what happened, and the animation is supposed to show what happened subsequently. It's not a very pleasant thought, but what is also possible, if Rowan drove and didn't stop, that Melissa would have been, I guess, effectively transported a certain distance, even though she was, very seriously wounded. Now, what is fascinating in a rather macabre way is that right now we've got two cases playing out simultaneously on opposite sides of the world. Do you know what the other case is? Well, it's the Karen Reid case. In that case, she's also accused of striking her partner. I don't think they were married. Striking her partner with her SUV, and him subsequently dying. And her defense was saying, no, that's not what happened. What happened was there was some sort of altercation and a neighbor's dog was involved, etc. And so one wonders whether the prosecution in that case will resort to something similar, showing an animation. And of course, one's got to wonder what is more far-fetched, a situation involving a dog or a situation involving a car in that particular instance. But the question here really is, did it involve deliberate action? And this is a little bit different to the Rust incident, where it's not necessarily a pure accident, where there does seem to be the potential for deliberate action of some sort, in this case involving a vehicle. And in this case, both these cases, Karen Reid and Rowan Dennis, where there's the death of an intimate partner. And so the question is, was the instrument in this a vehicle, and was it deliberate? And so the legal results, what do you think? Do you think they're going to be the same in both cases, yes or no? I'm not going to take it further than that. Thank you for listening. The Rowan Dennis case will resume in August, and we are going to wait and see what happens in August, what the result is going to be. Of course, the Karen Reid case kicks off much sooner, and I will certainly be covering that on this channel. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.